have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Pat Hoffman.
an inmate at Airway Heights Correction Center. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
I'm trying.
Thank you.
Good morning, good people. Blessings to you.
Good morning and blessings to you too. How are you today?
So far so good. No bumps, no scrapes, no bruises.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, I just got off the phone with Agnes, and after that, my niece, Jessie, Jessie isn't doing so well. She got a little too much party over the weekend, and she's sick today. Got a head cold or something, and Agnes is on her way tomorrow to come and visit me.
Woo! Yay!
Yes.
Woohoo! That's good.
Oh, yes. I have to put together a little money order thing through their wonderful system here to pay $600 for to help her at the place she's staying at. I'd like to do more, but that's all the money I have right now until my other ended money hits here at the end of the week. So we're trying to scrape through here and there and get things lined out. She will be at Schiphol Airport near Amsterdam tomorrow at this time. Her time is 9 hours ahead of us, so
Wow.
she will be about between 5 and 7. She will be on the train going to there, and she will stay the night there and then get on the plane in the morning to come to Seattle.
Wow, that's a long trip.
there-
She must really like you.
Yes. Yes. And this is number 12.
Wow, that's a lot of trips. Did you get your letter, the ambassadorship for the Chukotay Nation?
What's that?
Did you get your
Say again, I can't hear you so well.
Did you get your ambassadorship letter?
No, I haven't, dear. I don't know what you're talking about, so evidently I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, Patrick, how you doing? This is Rudy.
Yes, Rudy. Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So, two things I wanted to share with you. There should be a letter on its way to you from the Chilcotin Nation. They are a sovereign Indian tribe, and
Yes.
check out the contents of the letter when you receive it. And if you have any questions, I have an address you can write to them back. But I think you will like the letter. And
Okay.
yep. And
Yes.
also there was a reporter I think
Well,
Agnes was communicating with, and he's I've been reaching out to him. So he's very interested in your case, and that's good news. I think it's good news when people want to know more about your case.
Sure. Yes, everything like that is good news. Now, she had recontacted the journalist, the French journalist there in Belgium, that ran her article in the newspaper. She made the front page of the paper, and it improved the reading circulation. It was number 2 most read article since the paper started its run, 15 years or something like that. So we've got a good thing going, and he told her that he wanted a letter from me about what made me believe that I was innocent and what I had intended to do, and if I got out. And about Agnes and I's love and stuff, and how we got contacted and stuff. So yesterday I completed a 5-page letter to him that will be waiting for Agnes when she gets back home again there in Brussels, and she can take that to him. I started it out like this. I told him that, dear Gilbert, that Agnes had contacted you and told me that you wanted a letter from me. You wanted to know why I believed I was innocent, and I will say this. I am innocent because I've never, ever shot or killed anyone with or without any weapon. And absent anything else, that makes me innocent.
That's right.
And yes, and so I went into the details of jurisdiction, and went into the details of what was said in court that was overlooked by the jury, and went into the understanding that Sheila Cleveland had viewed the entire shootout from start to finish, and said in court that she was asked by the tribal council to press charges against us for murder of a police officer, and she says no. They didn't do anything wrong. The first shots came from where the police had positioned themselves. So, absent any of the other things, this was a case that is Indians against Indians on Indian land. And this means that the tribal court has absolute jurisdiction over it. One, because it's Indians on Indian land, and two, that the tribal council, in trying to institute Public Law 280, outstepped their powers and instituted Public Law 280 without going through one of the required steps, which was a vote of the people that had to be 5/8 of the previous voting public for tribal council members, and 3/4 of that vote had to go for instituting Public Law 280 on reservation lands. Now, they turned around, and I have the paperwork, or have seen the paperwork, of the minutes to that council meeting, and it said that they substituted the vote for the previous council election for that required vote. They can't do that. So, there's no federal jurisdiction on inland lands. That's valid.
Hey, Patrick.
On our reservation anyway.
I wanted to say, any letter that you send the reporter, feel free to send me a copy too, and I'll put it on your Dropbox location.
Okay. Agnes will have that. It's in the mail now, and it'll be 3 weeks before she gets back to it. But I'll have her do that immediately. And
okay.
It will help. Now, just so you know, Mr. Bible told us yesterday that he was unable to take the matter. So that kind of went down the tubes. But I'm not giving up on it, and I'm not stopping because of it. Yeah. It's just another hurdle that we have to undertake, because the main view that I keep seeing is my nephew's dream, and I just got through talking with Jesse about that. Jesse's father is the one who had the dream about me. He's my nephew that was raised with me and had to have corrective surgery on his feet through Shriners Hospital. He was a complete cripple, and they healed him. So, anyway, in the dream, Agnes is the light-haired woman on the motorcycle bringing me home. And I says, I have lots of faith in those type of things because they're telling the absolute truth. It's just a matter of us getting to that point to where the dream begins and carries through. So, Jessie was quite impressed with that, and she remembered and recounted everything that her dad had told her, and she told me, "Wow, you've got a good memory, Uncle."
Yeah. Isn't that called friendly fire when a officer shoots another officer?
Only if it's done on accident.
Huh?
Well, I was saying,
What's that?
my wife was asking about friendly fire, the term friendly fire, and I think that you only use that term when it's done on accident, but a lot of times it's not done on accident, so you don't use that term.
Well, there's several things that indicate that they were about doing what they chose to do. They were told by their superior officer, the police chief, to stand down. Now, you don't stand down when you're putting on a protective shooter's vest and you're loading your weapon. And my sister was arrested that night, and she was in the jail where they were going through this at 8 o'clock in the evening. Now, why, if he's going out to clear the place of drunks at 2:30 in the morning, why is he putting on a shooter's vest at 8:30 in the evening? That does not make any sense, except that he has developed a plan and he's going to carry through with it. Now, the one officer that Mr. Smiskin had relieved himself, and an officer Whitney and an officer Phillips, they were on administrative leave pending an investigation into the arrest of Elmer McGinnis on August the 24th in tribal chambers because the arrest warrant was invalid. The arrest warrant was for failure to appear at a court appearance six or 7 days in the future. You can't arrest somebody for that. Now, they beat him down, broke 7 of his ribs, and gave him heart arrhythmia. He was in the hospital for three days, and then all of a sudden, the doctor tells us if he has to leave, that Medicare will not take care of it anymore. Anyway, based on all of this, they knew that we were going home. They also knew by arresting the girls and putting them in jail for assisting in an escape from a secure facility. They wanted to try to call the hospital a secure facility, and they, in going through the articles that the girls had on them, found that the youngest daughter had the keys to the house. Now, at 8:30 in the evening, he's going to set up a plan to arrest Elmer McGinnis again, even though he doesn't have an arrest warrant. This drunks walking on the property is a makeup after the fact. It's not what they were doing that night. Mr. Phillips, who was relieved of duty, was told to put himself in a position where he could see the McGinnis property and not be seen. That he did. And then when we came to the property, he called John Dick and said, there's people walking on the property now. Well, there's 2 of us. They already know that there's 2 of us, and we don't know anything about them. Now, we're supposed to have made a plan to get John Dick, who was an administrative officer there, so we could shoot him. We also supposed to have a plan to have Mr. Millard get there so that we could kill him. problem is, Mr. Millard worked in a district 2 districts away from Nispelem. The reservation is divided up into Inchalim District, Keller District, Nispelem District, and Omak District, and Malott. Now, Mr. Millard worked in Inchalim District. How is there any way to us expect that we could have him some way be there? And if so, why would we have him in a shooter's vest?
Yeah, you know,
Now,
Mr. Hoffman,
when they went,
yep.
when they went onto the property, yes.
No, I'm sorry. There's just so many things that does not add up. Go ahead and finish your thinking, but I think it's good that people hear this.
They got to the place after Phillips called them, and they concealed their identity from anyone who might be on my dad's property. They went not to the front door, not to the front driveway. They went around back behind the property, up on the hill, and came through the fence onto the property like sneak thieves, and got to a point to where it had to be Officer Millard, because Officer Millard was behind John Dick in the testimony. I see it as this. John was in the lead, Lou Millard was behind him, and Lou Millard saw Dad and immediately attempted to shoot Dad. At the same time, John Dick steps in the line of fire and gets shot in the right underneath the arm. Now, the bullet passing through Millard, or through John Dick, and then hitting my father would be consistent with that, because of the angle of the slope of the hill we were on and stuff. Having the lowest one shoot through there would place the bullet at about it passed underneath John Dick's arm and into my father. John Dick said in court that he turned around and returned fire at the direction from where he was shot. He was shot from behind, so he shot at whoever shot him. Now, if I had been in between these two officers, like the prosecution tries to make out, I would have 2 bullet holes in me. Plain and simple. No, they tried to make out that those bullets were from the 9mm. Well, that's not so, because the 9mm was in Dad's hands, and Dad claimed that he got shot first also. So there was three ways that it could have went, and he said from start to finish that he shot only 3 times with the 9mm, and I never shot anything after that. And I know that those 3 bullets that I placed in that gun at that time were not full metal jacket copper. They were aluminum hollow point, and the casings are in evidence still, and they are Winchester Super X, and they're marked so that they will have in them what batch of bullets that they were made with, and what run from the manufacturer. And looking at the manufacturer's details, it will say that those were loaded with aluminum hollow point, 115 grade. Now, none of those were taken out of either officer, so killed him. What was? John Dick would not...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
...would not release his weapon for forensics until after he got an assurance from the prosecutor that he would not be tried for anything resulting from the Hoffman-McGinnis trial. Then he comes forward and states all of this. The last words that he says is, "I should have had a better plan."
Yeah.
That tells me that this will...
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Anyway, that's where I'm at with it. I told this all to Gilbert, and it will be, you'll have a copy of it when Agnes gets it. Please take care of you. Love and respect to both of you.
Love and respects to you, Mr. Hoffman. You and Agnes are in our prayers. Be on the lookout for a letter from the Chilcotin Nation.
All right. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it much.
Okay. God bless you, Mr. Hoffman.